Hi, I'm Chris. I'm a Senior UX Designer at Moonpig. And I'm here today to hopefully impart some bits of knowledge that you can store in your brains afterwards. Now, one warning first, I don't expect any responsibility for the pain caused by my terrible pop culture references that appear in my presentation. Cool. So, my story begins in 2004 in Manchester. No, that's 1984 Manchester, ignore that. That's 2004 Manchester. So, just to set the scene, it was a progressive city at this point, like new things had started to be built, it was quite an interesting place. That was the Urbis Art Museum, which was literally my favourite building at the time. Like, I loved it, it almost looked like a runway and the back of a plane at the same time. The Commonwealth Games had happened a couple of years before, and we had a nice new velodrome, a sports stadium, and a great big swimming pool, which was lovely. That guy on the left had just been bought, if anyone recognises him. That guy on the right had just departed as well. It was quite sad to see him go, but that guy did alright on the left, so we were okay. This highly accurate documentary was on TV. It started in 2004. If anyone doesn't know, it's shameless. It's well worth a watch. And these guys did their last gig at Glastonbury. Guess what? Nobody missed them, because nobody likes Liam Gallagher. And this was me, Hollywood actor Clive Owen. Now, if you don't know, this was in the film The Croupier. So I was actually a croupier at this point in time, and this is where my story starts. Now you can see he's dressed really glamorous, he looks really great dressed as a croupier. That was not my reality at all. So I worked in this absolute horror of a fractal pattern carpet filled casino with a fake diamante waterfall thing in the background, and wore an absolutely shocking uniform. Now, working nights was one part of this job that was actually quite a challenge. And as part of that, essentially, like you had to make friends with the people you worked with, because you weren't going to socialise with anyone else when you were working nights. Now, through making friends, I got to learn about the company. And there's one quite interesting fact about casinos, is that they will run on a very, very tight profit margin. Like, you wouldn't really expect it. It's a company that just has cash going through it all day, but they run on a 5% profit margin, pretty much max. So what you have to learn when working there is that there are fine-tuning things that you can do, like as a dealer at a casino, and that's what I started as. It's essentially all about like game pace and kind of just like doing things consistently, and that way the casino makes money. A casino is set up like this. So as a dealer, you have like a tree structure above you of people, various titles. Pit boss is the most fun one out of those, and they have a set promotion track as well. So, and it's set in like time periods essentially, and it's made like that so that you have the right experience as you're going up this tree. So I got to the inspector level, and I was kind of like going for the level above that. And I was doing well at that because I'd actually paid attention to the metrics. Like, not everybody had paid attention to the metrics that was at this kind of inspector level. And so the key learnings I had at the casino were pay attention to key metrics, and this applies to any company that I work at as well. Make friends and learn how to be patient. Now you notice these are kind of things that you will apply to any company. It's just that it just happens that I was working at a casino at the time. So you may be thinking now, like, how the hell is this guy a designer? Like when he was a croupier. So I had a motorbike accident, and I was off work for 10 months. And one of the things that I had to figure out was, well, I can't stand up for a job every day. I hate working nights. What do I actually want to do with my life? So I decided that like e-commerce was booming at the time. It was kind of after the initial .com bubble burst. It was like this was like the second wave. So like e-commerce websites were like sprouting up everywhere before Amazon destroyed them all, of course. And I was working at a little, small company, about 15 people in it, and it was a gym equipment website. So it was like, you used to sell gym equipment online and over the phone. And they had a very simple aim. So understanding the metric of this company, though it couldn't have been simple, just sell more things. Now the company was set up like this. So the web team was me and another guy, a developer. And you'll notice that we had like direct access to the managing director. Now that was amazing because I got to learn a hell of a lot from a guy that had run a business for 20 years. So as a result, it's like I became essentially a sponge for new information at the time. Another part of working at small companies, which many of you will probably know if you work at startups, is you wear many, many hats, and it's great to actually do that because it means you get to experiment with different skill sets. So I learned to code. Here's the first out-of-date pop culture reference of the night, if anyone recognises it. I learned to write, and I learned how to be a user-centred designer, or a user experience designer, as we call it these days. Obviously appreciate this wonderful graphic. It's a fine work of art. So because I was at if anyone recognises this kind of diagram, I was at the growth inflection point. So that's the best time to be at to actually learn lots of new skills. So I did, and I was asking for more responsibility all the time because that's the right thing to do when you're at that point. So one day I was asked to manage a warehouse for a couple of weeks, and found something out very quickly is I suck at managing warehouses. I somehow fundamentally don't understand how cardboard works, or how things move from one location to another. And it was quite an important learning that because I'd actually found something I really enjoyed, which is working in a digital space and being a designer. But I did actually have my limits. I just did not fit in that kind of job. So the key learnings here were to be a sponge and ask for more responsibility and learn what your strengths are, but also you don't have to master everything. I know this is something that probably gets said to us a lot as designers, but I learned it doing something totally different that I was really uncomfortable with. So at this point, I was evolving, going from Pikachu all the way on. And I decided as part of my evolution that I wanted to move away from sunny Oldham to sunny Hatfield. And I worked here in this giant corporate campus at T-Mobile. Going from a small company where it's like an office in a gym warehouse to like a massive campus like this, it felt like going into the future. It had a reception with just like the jingle playing every 5 minutes. It was all white and pure, like something like a Stanley Kubrick film. I used to drive the receptionist mad. They'd only last for about 4 weeks before they had to go and see a psychiatrist or something because of the jingle playing every 5 minutes. It's just it was shocking. And this was one of the first things I actually learned when I went to this job, and it was a reinforcement of what I'd already learned, which was essentially you've got to focus on your strengths. Because if you're working in a team of people, everybody's going to have different strengths. So you don't actually have to master everything, but you do really need to know what you're strong at. This book, our whole team, the whole department, it's like 40 people, went through this book, went through the exercise, and you found out where your strengths were. Coincidentally, all the UX designers had exactly the same profiles. So we knew that when we were working on different projects, we'd have to tap into different people for different information. It was a really valuable learning. So this is what also happened when I was there. T-Mobile and Orange merged, which was chaotic, actually totally insane. They were called Everything Everywhere for a short period of time, and then the EE brand formed. So if anyone's forgot about that, then you've got a nice reminder of where one of the big mobile providers formed from. And the change curve was introduced to us as well, which is an interesting concept for everybody. So when the companies merged, essentially they had to kick some people out and basically just get some people used to the fact that they were going to have to do twice as much work as what they were doing, including me as well, where I took on work for 2 rounds out of 1. So getting through this change curve was actually quite an important learning company like that. And as you may expect, this company was full of middle managers, and that's almost an accurate screenshot of the people at the company. And the next part of my story is actually It's not much the personal failure, but we can all learn from it. So imagine this is a sales conference. There's hundreds of people there, and there is a vice president's board Q&A session. So imagine there's a bunch of VPs sat there. Now, what I didn't know at the time was like kind of what the nature of these things actually is. I was quite a naive, relatively young designer. So when the Q&A happened at the end, I decided to stand up, and after being told what the company's strategy is for the whole day, I was like, so, you know what, we want to go into TV? Is that the right market to go into? Because essentially, like Sky were dominating the crap out of everything. Online streaming services that were dedicated to doing that were only starting to come to play in 2011, 2012. And I suggested, well, why not go into gas and electricity? Because the only thing you need to sell gas and electricity is a giant, robust billing system and a customer service department. You don't actually have to supply the gas and electricity to people. It's something most people don't know. All you need to do is charge people money, so it seemed like a no-brainer to me. Obviously, like companies like Netflix were already just starting to come into play at this point. And this was EE's TV product. Like, has anybody used this product ever? Like, it's like no, blank faces in the room because nobody did use it. So it wasn't the best thing to do. And the gas and electricity market was absolutely the right market to get into because there was only 4 players at the time, and now there are about 30. So it was. So I felt really smug about that, obviously. But the thing is, this conference with these people, they were looking for essentially a bit of lip service. So they weren't looking for somebody to stand up and question one of the core parts of their business strategy that they were trying to get 10,000 people aligned with. That was the whole company. The conference had about 500 there that were mainly managers. They were literally looking for someone to kind of agree with them and maybe ask them a slightly challenging question, but not challenge them as much as I did, because timing is everything. And a large company like that, you've got to play politics if you actually want an idea to go through. But obviously that can take time because these companies are massive. Like the digital department itself had multiple design delivery teams, traffic management, which I'll actually talk about in a minute, like when it goes wrong when you don't have traffic management. And then the rest of the company just had thousands of people in it. So if you actually want to get anywhere there, you kind of have to play a slow game. And there was no set promotion structure either. For some reason, our leader just didn't really set one up. The role there that you see that's called CXDM was just this bizarre role that was created. It's pretty much a product manager. It's the person that's responsible for making sure that the product is of good quality and gets delivered on time and that kind of thing. But you don't want to be promoted from a UX designer to a product manager necessarily. Some people do. Mostly you just want to become a more senior UX designer, maybe head of UX, that kind of thing. But that structure didn't exist at this company. And it's partly because every year, like many large old-fashioned companies, they have a round of redundancies where they just boot out a load of middle managers, hire more in, and then do the same thing every year. So you've just got this maelstrom of people that you're kind of competing with for ideas that are all just like crazy because they're all worried about their jobs all the time. So it's not a great place for ideas to flourish if you're a designer. So one thing I had to decide was like should I adapt to this company or should I just get the fuck out? Because the slow game actually wasn't for me. I didn't really enjoy politics at the time, and I kind of needed a clear promotion structure. Really, didn't really have one. What I'm not to do is not wait until you're really, really frustrated and you kind of have to leave a company. Luckily, I did okay afterwards, but I would highly advise not waiting that long. Like, if you know you're frustrated at a company and it's absolutely the wrong thing for you, just get out. We can find other jobs as designers. It's like we're in a good market. So let me just take you back to Manchester. So 2012, Manchester's come a long way, still more. And this is the Beaton Tower, Manchester's first true skyscraper. It's a wonderfully ridiculous top-heavy building. these crazy people are starting winning things? Oh, it's horrifying, absolutely horrifying. And I'd uprooted my life, and I was kind of starting to feel it at this point, like I'd just moved away from where I grew up from, been in quite a stressful place, so it wasn't really natural for me. And I'd made lots of friends, but I was starting to feel a bit dislocated and stretched. Like, I'd moved house a couple of times within that time, and I'd moved companies after I'd left EE as well. So, at that time I was thinking, like, just before I moved, I was like, what am I actually strong at? And it's like, well, I like coming up with ideas. Obviously I come up with valuable ideas sometimes. So at the time, like, a company like Secret Escapes was a startup and a good place to go. Think is the UX agency that I've come across before. They would have been a good place to go. Because they're all places where ideas thrive. If you feel like the energy, it's not a big corporate or anything like that. But I didn't do that. I decided to go to ASOS instead, which is another relatively large company. And that's Great London House, very pretty building with a giant cat on the outside, because I think the architect was actually insane. But I was a bit shell-shocked, but apologies for the shocking image there. Yeah, I was totally shell-shocked when I started there, like decompressing from this like mega stressful place I didn't really want to be beforehand. But I had to survive. Like, I had to survive this jungle that I walked into, and it's like, what, a jungle? At ASOS, really? And it was essentially, like, ASOS was quite a flat structured company at the time, so it was quite a large company, and a lot of the other directorates had loads of people in it, but our structure was like, we were quite close to the CEO, which many people might be surprised by. Now, that was good and bad. The good part of it was that you had access to like people who were genuinely running a multi-million pound company. The bad thing was that they could top down you, like whenever they felt like it. It was kind of ridiculous. And the traffic management that I talked about before. So the EE traffic management was handled by a whole team. There was loads of traffic coming in, so it needed a group of people to actually do it. There was quite a lot of work coming in at ASOS, but like our lead UX was the traffic manager. So essentially, you can kind of see when there's a little bit of traffic, that's all right. But when you have a traffic jam, it's screwed. It just goes to shit. So the other part of it as well is because of that, it was kind of a volatile environment, and what I had to learn very quickly after being kind of a gobshite in the last place was, don't pour petrol on the fire of what is already quite a volatile situation in somewhere that's like kind of needs to be a bit more organised and a bit better led. So many of you will be familiar with user testing. So this is quite a common practice. For some very ridiculous reason, our lead UX at the time didn't believe in user testing. It was totally insane. Like, I could have easily become very angry at this point. Like, why are we not doing normal UX processes? It just seemed like something totally insane to do. But as part of that learning, I just had to learn to be patient. Like, a company like that, the right things will happen at some point, and I knew I had to just like learn gradually, just slow down a little bit. Like, the obvious problems got solved. New management came in actually quite quickly. We started doing the right processes, like user testing, which is great. And if you remember this diagram from earlier, like, I was actually moving a bit slower at this point, but I wanted to move a little bit slower at this point. I didn't really want to be like taking loads of new stuff on when I knew that I probably needed to pick up some things a bit more slowly in a bit more detail. Like, so I learned to be a researcher. Not that kind of researcher though, user researcher. And I also learned like how to be essentially proper UX design, being able to think in like flows and like pulling out all the various like niceties of user needs and like business problems you want to attack and stuff like that. And the other part of working at ASOS as well is like the team I started had 4 people in it. The team now has 20 odd people in it. Like, you can see it's kind of reinforces by when I was saying we were overworked. It's like it needed that many people to work, and it does now. But like it was just nuts. We didn't even have product managers at that point. And kind of last part I'd say about working there was that one thing I assumed after working there for a few years was just the time you spent there like would automatically give you a promotion. It's products. Like you still have to actually try. You still have to focus on what they need from you. You don't just get these things handed to you. Well, that's similar did as well. That was a house I bought as well. So that's actually quite stressful, and it kind of reinforces the point that I needed a balanced home and work life at this point. Like buying a house is so stressful that like I couldn't have everything going on at work all at the same time. So luckily I was in a place where I could take a little bit more time to learn. So the key learners there have a longer term learning strategy. So like learning how to be a researcher, like the basics of that took me probably about 6 months. And needs to be quiet sometimes, as much as I don't like that. Don't panic when responsibility is being delegated away from you. So that's when the team's growing, essentially. I'm like, am I losing what control I have over the system? But it just wasn't the case at all. It's okay for that to happen because nobody should be that overworked. And yeah, don't maintain a balance of home and work life. So, to conclude, throughout all these things you've seen, paying attention to key metrics, so you can put like sometimes you might forget this as designers. Look for a clear promotion structure, like challenge your leaders if you don't have one, because it's not really an excuse to not have one. Have lots of conversations with different people. I know that seems obvious and we're all quite chatty anyway, but it's there for you. Yeah, if you're in the right environment, be a sponge for information, recognise when you're in that environment. Take on more responsibility, of course. I know that may seem obvious, but it's something we need to remind ourselves of. Create long-term learning strategies, because you will have some gaps. And be comfortable occasionally staying quiet listening, but like we're designers, we have to speak up. Like our opinions are actually quite important. We're well versed in this stuff. And do not overwork yourself, because you matter. You matter more than any company that you work for. Don't panic. And if you really want to become a politician, like some people enjoy that. So like if you do enjoy that, do it, try it, experiment with it. And the great thing is like going through all of that has opened doors for me. It's let me decide where I want to work. So I chose the place to work, and it's with a bunch of people like this. This was at our old office, actually. That's me in the middle. We didn't have much space in our old office, but we could do expansive thinking. We were allowed to think through any kind of user problem in whatever way we want. It's quite free. We had to draw on windows here. We had to go to like the 4th floor and draw on some windows because we didn't have any whiteboards. So because we didn't have any space on whiteboards, we moved to a brand new office, which is absolutely bloody amazing. I call it a neo-industrial children's playground. And I love working there. And we get to design some fun, blurry home pages apparently. Oh God. But no, we do get to design some cool stuff. And like some of this is coming out and will actually be customer facing. And like we get the chance to take something which, like when I started there, I knew Moonpig had a particular reputation for being an absolute mess. I wanted to sort that out, and we're getting there. We are actually making a difference. Bit by bit though, they're still a bit of a mess. And we're hiring people as well, because we need to do more. Obviously we've got lots of bits. Sorry for this shameless plug, by the way. So, the leader made me do it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we can do a couple of questions if anyone has any questions. Yeah.
Thanks for the talk, really good. Just a quick question regarding promotion structure and kind of having that quite clear. would it work, say for example, when you're in ASOS and you're working with a few other designers, maybe you get senior there and there is just like a head of UX. I mean, if there is no room, I mean, what can you do to get further up, other than usurping and taking the throne as the head of UX?
So it's a shame I wasn't at the right point in my career when I was there, because we had like 5 different leaders in 4 years, so technically you could just wait for one of them to leave. But no, the thing I had to do was I had to work out how to be patient, to like learn new skills, and it was a place where I could actually learn new skills. But when you get to that point where there is a promotion ceiling, you just get out. Someone else will hire you at that level. However much you love the company, however much you love the 40% clothing discount that I used to get, there's still better places to work, and I work at a much better place now than where I was.
Anyone else? All right, so thank you very much. Yeah, if we could hear one more round of applause for Chris.